Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I thought I'd talk about something a little bit different. I feel like this is so important to talk about because it consumes your life a little bit, and I feel like there's not enough coverage or not enough research into it, and it's very, very close to my heart. And I feel like I know a couple of other people who suffer from this condition as well, who are really struggling, and a lot of females have approached me from when I've talked about it in the past, and you need to keep giving this condition exposure because so other women can understand, or other men as well if they don't understand the condition. And I just think it's really important to keep talking about this topic. I have recently been diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, and whenever anybody asks me about it or if I talk about it, people always freak out because I say stage 4 and then they presume cancer, and I'm like, no, it's endometriosis, don't worry. I started my periods around the age of maybe about 12, 13, and by the age of about 15 I was having excruciating periods. Like, they were so painful, it was unbearable. And I used to walk out of school whenever I used to have my period. I used to literally cry to the matron and be like, I am in so much pain. And obviously no one ever listens because they just think you're a kid trying to go home and get out of school. So I just used to walk out because I was like, forget this is way too painful, I can't deal with it. I used to also have very heavy periods, and my periods would be like every 2 weeks. So it was like I felt like I was always bleeding and bleeding so much. I felt so weak, and I kept going to the doctors. I was like, I think there's something wrong. I don't think this is normal. The doctors kept fobbing me off. They just said, go on the pill, like they do all the time. Go on the pill, go on the pill. So I went on the pill, and that obviously regulated my periods so that I would only bleed once a month, and it would reduce the amount of bleeding and the time of the period. However, that wasn't really getting rid of the chronic pain. Built a high pain threshold, and I just got on with it because I just thought that was normal, because I kept getting fobbed off by the GP. So as years went on, I then started to develop really bad bowel problems, just so much pain with not only going to the toilet whilst on my period, but just pain all month round, all year round. Honestly, just such irritated bowels. Anyway, I kept going to the doctors about that, and they just said, oh, you've got IBS. I didn't realise that problems with bowels were a sign of endometriosis, because obviously endometriosis spreads and it can go into different organs. And doctors just fob you off and say, yeah, it's IBS. So then I was diagnosed with chronic IBS because of how bad it was. Anyway, I went on tablets like Mebrivine, but that just did not help me at all. I ended up coming off that, and I just thought, I just have bad periods and I just have chronic IBS. Okay, it is what it is. That's the cards I've been dealt. Further down the line, I then say this is about 3-4 years ago, maybe since 3 years ago, my health has kind of started to deteriorate more. So a few years ago, it's got to the point now where I'm on my periods and it's hurting when I wee. It's hurting when I wee. I feel so uncomfortable after I've weed. It's like the worst UTI, but I only have it when I'm on my periods. So I'm thinking it's not a UTI because I'm not having it outside of my periods. So it's starting to get weird. Anyway, I decided to change pill because it just got so, my periods got so chronically painful that I just went on to a pill where I didn't have periods. And then I must have came off the pill for a period of time. And then I noticed my periods started to come back and they were awful again. My partner, his mom is a ex-nurse and she's also a midwife, and I would literally, guys, I would be in my bed, like if I went to the toilet, if I went for a wee, I would cry all night because of the pain after on my bladder, and I just felt so uncomfortable. I'd be in literally a fetus position, rolling, like crying on the floor. And his mom was like, there's something not right there, you need to get checked, I think you might have endometriosis. Obviously she deals with gynae issues a lot, being a midwife and all that sort of stuff, and she works alongside the endometriosis surgeon. She said, I think it sounds like you might have endometriosis. So I call I've moved house at this point, so I'm out of Birmingham. I've now moved into a new area. I call my doctors. I mean, my doctors in Birmingham were atrocious, guys. They just did not care. They were terrible. So anyway, so one thing I wanted to point out as well with my doctors in Birmingham, I kept going to them about my bladder problems whilst on my period, and it's so mortifying. They kept saying, well, go and get an STI check, come in and we'll STI check you. And I'm like, at this point, I was single for like 5 years. I was not sexually active. Like, I was saying to them, it is not an STI. I'm only getting this on my period. It is excruciating. And then it goes once my period goes. And they didn't care. So I call up my new GP and I'm like, please can I get referred to the endometriosis clinic because I think I might have it. Straight away, they just went, yeah, without question, which was brilliant. My new doctors are a lot better. Anyway, I go in for an ultrasound scan and I'm kind of feeling that at this point, maybe I'm just being dramatic, maybe I just have really bad periods, so what, deal with it. And literally, guys, I went in there, she did not, the doctor that was dealing with me at the time was maybe not the most great with words. So she was okay, but she just was very, I don't know, she freaked me out a bit. So she literally said to me, it's a mess in there. That was her words. And I went, wow. So she did an external scan and she was like, oh, we're gonna have to do an internal one. So I'm like, okay. Wasn't expecting that. So anyway, they do an internal and an external scan. And she said, so you've got an irregular womb shape, which I think I know my mom has one, so that's not too much of a concern, I don't think. She said, you've got cysts everywhere. You've got cysts absolutely everywhere. She was like, you've also got an abnormal cyst on your left ovary, which needs to be checked. So that flagged up to me. Then she said, you've got what it looks like is endometriosis along your bladder wall, potentially maybe in your bladder or whatever, and on your bowels. So I was like, oh, maybe this explains the bowel and the bladder problems. Maybe I don't have IBS. Maybe this is the problem. The doctor, she literally said to me, do you have any children? And I said, no. And she said, are you ever planning on having children? I said, yeah, of course, yeah. She goes, well, my advice is to have them sooner rather than later. And I was like, excuse me, like, I don't know, like, I felt like I just couldn't question it. And I was like, right, okay, that's like a hard pill to swallow. Do you know what I mean? I was like, wow. And then I got referred to my endometriosis surgeon, who is the specialist in the West Midlands area. And he basically called me and he was like, yeah, this is stage 4 severe endometriosis. We need to keep doing some further checks and then we can discuss the options. Surgery for me is what I would advise. This is what he said. And I always knew if I had it, I was going to have surgery because the pain I'm in is ridiculous. From then, I've just been non-stop in and out of hospital. I've had MRIs, more ultrasound scans. I just feel like I am played with everywhere, like it's horrible. I had a cystoscopy the other day, which is where they put a camera up your urine hole. Oh my god, it is just horrible. Like, I just feel mentally and physically drained. So at the moment, there's just so many more checks that they're doing on me that things have flagged up, but I'm not really going to go into that side of my health until I have things confirmed. I don't think it's probably right going into all of the details with what's happening with the hospital appointments, because what's happening for me may not happen for somebody else. But when I have things confirmed, if people want updates on my health, then that's fine. Just leave a comment and say, like, whatever's happening, let us know, because we want to know. I know this is quite interesting for people who are concerned about endometriosis or suffering from endometriosis. But my journey has definitely not been easy with this. So I want to talk about my symptoms and how I have it. So obviously I have so much pain with my bladder all the time. Like at the point now, because I've stopped my periods, I don't have that excruciating pain and discomfort that I had with my periods, but I do have like a constant dragging feeling of my bladder. It feels like someone's got my bladder and they're just trying to pull it out all the time. It's horrible. My bowels, I haven't suffered as bad with lately, but I do still have the odd episode here and there. And guys, when I tell you, like, it's really disgusting to talk about, but I don't really care because I feel like it's so important to understand that these things aren't normal. I would literally be normal like this and then it would hit me like that, and I don't have time. Like, I need to be by toilets at all times. I would get to the point where I would go like white. I would feel like I was gonna pass out. I will sweat and sweat, and I'll literally feel so sick, like I'm gonna throw up, and then I'll have to go to the toilet really quickly because I'm like, oh my god. I know that sounds disgusting. I know that sounds disgusting, but guys, like, when I have those episodes, I'm ill. I'm so ill. Thank God, touch wood, I haven't had one of them in a few months, so that's quite good, but my bladder is really causing me a lot of problems. I've had to go like restricted, have restrictions in place at work because of it. So it's kind of like my endometriosis now is kind of taking over my life a little bit. It's affecting my work life. It affects my personal life. Endometriosis can be quite painful for sex for women, and unfortunately I deal with that. It's quite painful, and that can affect, you know, other aspects of your life, like your relationship, you know, because that's quite an intimate thing and that's quite an important thing as well. Obviously a very important thing in a relationship. So it's very difficult. Like, endometriosis can not just affect you health wise, but so many different departments, like your mental health. It's crazy. You just feel so ill all the time that you're just drained emotionally. And in the back of my head all the time, as much as I try and be smiley and happy and all this blah 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 blah, in the back of my head I'm thinking, am I fertile? Because you guys have already told me have kids sooner rather than later, which is scary to me. When I was speaking to my endometriosis surgeon, because I have to have 3 surgeons, a urologist surgeon, so a bladder surgeon, bowel surgeon, and my endometriosis surgeon, so it's quite a difficult surgery for myself. But when I was speaking to my endometriosis surgeon, he said you might be fine, like with your fertility might be fine. He said you might find it hard to conceive, it might take a while, it may not, but he said the factors more are, can you carry a healthy baby? That's his concern. So I was like, oh, okay, so you've got this on the back of your mind, like, am I going to get pregnant? Am I going to have a happy, healthy baby? Is, like, you know, this abnormal cyst on my left ovary, what is that? Is this okay? There's concerns when we've been looking into my bladder, so that is in the back of my head. Like, and at the moment with my hospital appointments, like I said earlier, there's other concerns that may be going on that I won't go too into, so that's always in the back of your head, and you're like, oh my god, like, it just feels like a roller coaster. Like, endometriosis can lead to other health conditions, and it's just, oh god, you just want to scream and shout. And I think anybody watching this who has endometriosis will just so understand that you just don't feel like anyone understands. You just feel like everyone thinks you're just maybe doing it for attention. Not that people have said that to me, but I just feel like nobody understands. Like, nobody understands the pain and the emotional, and just, no one understands. And that's so stressful in itself. So with my stage and where I'm at with endometriosis, I don't take nothing for my pain. Because my periods have stopped, my pain has kind of reduced a lot, but I still have uncomfortable feelings, which is, I'd actually rather take the pain over the uncomfortable feelings, the discomfort. But I don't take anything. I'm currently still stopping my periods, which this pill doesn't really agree with me. The pill I'm on is I think it's like the mini pill or whatever you call it, Cerazette. I don't really like it, I'll be honest. As soon as I have my surgery, when I have my flipping surgery, I'd like to come off it just so I can be hormone free of being pumped with hormones or whatever you want to call it, because I'm sick of that. My hormones are through the roof as it is because I have such an imbalance. I don't need that as well on top. I recently got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I think it's called, because I suffer with chronic fatigue, my muscles ache, I feel numb, I get like pins and needles. So that's kind of like doesn't help either, that makes everything worse. I've still currently got a wait for scans because my bladder, they're looking for something that's fogged up in my wee that didn't come up on the ultrasound, so they've got to do more scans, and I'm waiting to book in to see the gynae again for my left ovary, and I've still got to go and sort out my bowels that haven't even been looked at yet. And when I was speaking to one of the endometriosis doctors, I asked, once you've sorted all this crap out, how long is it till I can have my surgery? And he was like, the waiting list is like 12 months. And that's a long time when you're in a lot of pain and discomfort and it's affecting all areas of your life. Obviously, cancer patients take priority, which is obviously what needs to happen. So it's one of them. I'm not even on the list yet. I'm not even on the list yet because there's so much that they've got to do with me. And when I have the surgery, it'll have to be the 3 surgeons, like I mentioned before. So that's a complicated surgery. And then they've said to me, you know, usually it's a laparoscopy. I hope I've said that right because I feel like I never say these things right. A laparoscopy surgery, which is keyhole. Because of the depth of my endometriosis, they've told me potentially maybe they might have to like cut me open. I think it's like a C-section, I don't know, which is also something I don't want. You know, I feel like my endometriosis is so complicated that there's so much complications involved, and it's quite stressful actually. I didn't expect it to be severe stage 4. It kind of validated my pain that I was in because I was like, damn, I knew I'd been in a lot of pain. I knew my body weren't right, but no one was listening for so long. Like the GPs were completely ignoring me. Endometriosis can be so lonely and so isolating, and I just think if you know anybody with it, just check in on them because, you know, it's hard. It's actually really flipping hard. You know, I keep saying, when people ask me about it, I'm always like, guys, there's people out there with worse conditions who are really ill, you know, and stuff like that. And people like keep saying to me, stop invalidating your feelings with it. So I do need to stop doing that because it is bad and sad as well. Endometriosis, you know, I just hope that in the future there is more endometriosis surgeons, more research, more out there, like resources, because at the moment there is so little that women are just not getting the treatment that they need quick enough, and it's just so crap. It's so sad. So yeah, so that is where I'm at with my endometriosis. Living with it is rubbish. It's so crap, and I hope that anybody out there who's dealing with it is okay. If you feel like you have any of these symptoms, you need to go to the doctor, guys. Do not leave it as long as it's been left for me, because if they would have looked at me over a decade ago when I kept going to them, I wouldn't be stage 4 now. I should have pushed harder as well. Periods are not supposed to be excruciating. You're having like really irregular periods, really heavy periods, a lot of pain with your bowels, pain with your bladder, pain during sex. Guys, these are not normal symptoms. Please, please, please go to your GP and push. And even if you say, please, you might not have endometriosis because there are a lot of problems that women can have down there. But even if you just go and say, can I have an endometriosis referral? They can have a look and they can go, even if they say it's not endometriosis, but actually we think you might have polycystic ovaries or whatever there is down there. There is so many things wrong that can happen. So guys, I can't stress enough, go see a GP. When I did like a little IGTV reel on Instagram, I had so many women message me like, I think I might have endometriosis, or I think I have some of these symptoms, like I think I need to get checked. And I'm like, go, 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 because God, it is shockingly crap. So yeah, guys, that is all from me. I just thought I'd do a little video because it's something that's so important to me, and this YouTube channel of mine is my safe place, and I really, really love everybody that follows me and leaves me such nice comments. Like, you know, other social media platforms can be so cruel, but YouTube seems to be like a really safe place for me, and I just feel comfortable talking on here. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, comment, let me know if you have endometriosis, if you think you might, if you have problems, or you're not even that you have problems, don't feel like you need to air that, but just let me know what you think about this video or whatever. And don't forget to go follow me on Instagram, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, have a beautiful time.